Hi, this is John, KC2QMA. I thought I'd make a little video describing some of the things that I've learned and some improvements that I've made with my new AL-1200 amplifier. This is a wonderful amplifier. It gives you about 1500 watts with less than 100 watts of drive. And the 1200 Z7 tube is a super heavy duty tube, so almost indestructible. And these things will just go for years and years and years. So I thought I'd share some of my thoughts and ideas and impressions with you. I don't claim to be a video production specialist, so I'm doing my best I can here. But I thought I'd share some of this stuff with you. So let's have a look. The Ameritron AL-1200 goes back to the early to mid 80s, and it originally came with a 1200 A7, then later a D7, and the current version uses a 1200 Z7, and that's the most ruggedized of the three, and performs quite well, and these have a long history of great service. These tubes are just about indestructible. Here's some technical specs. One of the things that I like and I think is very innovative is the band switching system, which has all the tuning coils inside of a little box right behind the switch, and all the tuning coils are right there, so it tunes very easy, and it's even very easy to fine-tune the tuning coils if necessary. So one of the things I noticed right off the bat was the LED, or the lighting that comes with it, is not so good. Now the original version came with incandescent lamps, and the current version uses these two LEDs right over the meters. And you could see it leaves a halo there. It's not very good and not really that bright. Of course it does the trick in a dark shack. It does light the meter up. Now some people even like to use blue lighting, but I find that it makes it hard to read the meters. So what I did was I installed SMD strip LEDs. These are 12 volt. And the AL-1200 does use a 12 volt bias, so it's pretty easy to power these up. I also wrapped the meter bezels in frosted tape to diffuse some of this lighting, and it really works great. There are 5 LEDs in each of these strips, so that's a total of 10 LEDs across these 2 meters. Lots of lighting. And as you can see here, it really lights up the meters nicely, and I chose to use the white because it keeps with the Ameritron look. It also is black on white meter faces, and you could see the transmit LED also has a chrome bezel now. Another thing I noticed was the cooling system was a little bit inadequate, so I made a small improvement. So let's take a look. If you look here at the blower, there's quite a large air gap between the chassis and the blower itself. So part of the problem with that is you get some regeneration because the heat from the exhaust of the tube gets drawn right back into the blower and back through the tube. Now it is taking in cool air with it, so there's a ratio there of how much cool air to how much it's bringing in. Regardless, it's reducing the efficiency of the cooling system just by not having a good seal. The idea here is that you want the power supply side to be under a vacuum where it's drawing cool air in and pulling that cool air through the blower, pressurizing the deck, and exhausting only heat out this side. So we're going to create a seal using weather stripping right here. That's all you need. You use thick weather stripping, and that'll seal that off. And I don't know what the measurement would be, but it'll certainly improve the cooling. So as you can see here, we've put that weather stripping in, and it makes a really nice seal, and it actually dampens some of the vibrations. So this worked out really well and improves the cooling quite a bit. And I also decided I wanted to have a option to raise the speed and lower the speed for different modes of operation. And I like having the high speed, of course, for any heavy contesting, continuous carrier, digital modes, and then slow speed for SSB. So this worked out really good. So let's take a listen to what the differences are in the two speeds. Okay, and here's the cover back on, and go around back here, and I can flip the switch. And now the blower speed increases. And so I'm using the high and low speed tap. Actually, the high speed is quiet in its own regard. The low speed gives you a little bit more of a hum. The high speed gives you more of a ring. And there it goes back to the low speed tap. Later on, I actually decided to just have it go from high speed to medium speed. I thought the low speed was just a little bit too slow for my shack. My shack tends to get a little on the warm side, so I figured a little extra cooling couldn't hurt. And you could see that seal there is I added a little extra stripping to seal it up nicely. And that worked out pretty darn well. So there is no breakage between the one side and the other side. And it came out quite well. So I discovered another issue, and that is with the filament transformer. It does get quite hot, and this is pretty normal for this transformer. However, I was hoping to try to extend the life of it. For some reason there's a gap between the transformer core and the chassis. So what I've done is inserted a little bit of metal or tin foil between the cores there and the or the laminates and the chassis, and now it transfers some of that heat, couples to the chassis, and it does lower the temperature and extend the life of that transformer a bit. Now there are other materials that would work a little bit better, but I didn't have them at the time. Later on I'll change that to some thermal stuff. So I had some time while I was waiting for some parts, so I ordered the grid overload protection and the electronic bias switchboard, and I decided, well, what the heck, let me install these things while I had the opportunity. I'm actually surprised that Ameritron doesn't include the grid protection board in all of their amplifiers, especially the 1200 and the 1500, which is their flagship amplifiers. So here's the grid protection board. It's only got a few wires on it. It's 5 wires in total, and it's pretty simple to install. The directions are a little bit unclear, but if you really take your time, you can figure it out. It's pretty simple. You just have to follow the color codes and all the connections. And it only took me about 15 minutes to install this board, so not too bad. So here it is installed right behind the meter bank. It actually attaches to the filter and rectifier boards area. So the other thing I did was installed the bias board. Now my amplifier is fairly new, so it has the 4 pre-drilled holes to mount the board. If you have an older one, you'll have to drill the holes out yourself, but it does come with a template. And this board also only has a few wires, and it mounts right there, and there's a couple of wires that go up to the terminal strip and a wire that goes over to the relay board. And this actually worked. I wasn't convinced that this was worth adding, but it actually does work. As long as you give the amplifier 100 milliwatts or more, it'll engage the bias, and the amp will run cooler when you're basically not talking. It comes with an MOV. That's the red little piece there. You do have to install that, and it does work out pretty good. So here's everything installed with the plate transformer removed, and it was pretty easy to do. Overall, I think that both boards took me a total of 30 minutes to install, so not bad. Alright, and the final upgrade that I'm going to do to this amplifier is installing some of this sound deadening material. Stuff I'm using is by Hushmat. Some people use Dynamat. This works just as good. I think it actually works a little bit better. So it's an adhesive material. It's butyl rubber, and Listen to the metal now. Doesn't sound very metallic, does it? That's what this stuff does. It takes care of those higher frequency resonances, which is what you're hearing when the blower is running. So just a couple of pieces there, and I put another piece in the back deck. Let me show you. So here, there's a piece along the back wall, just a small strip here, and a small strip here. And definitely has knocked down some of that resonance, that metallic sound. So this should be a keeper. Okay, so I must be the unluckiest guy that's ever bought an Ameritron, because I ended up with two defective transformers. That filament transformer ended up having a problem, and also the plate transformer ended up having a problem. So I had to replace both of them. And Ameritron's been great. Now, they sent me both transformers, of course, no charge. This amplifier is still under warranty. But take a look at this plate transformer. I mean, you can actually see the windings exposed. This thing made a buzzing noise like you wouldn't believe. And this is the new replacement transformer. And you can see a little bit that it's wound much tighter and much neater. And this one is absolutely dead quiet. And so there was no problem there. They replaced that with no problem. Well, look how they shipped, UPS shipped the filament transformer. Ooh, delicate instruments. You could see they really read that and followed those directions. Fortunately, the transformer is much smaller than the box, so it wasn't damaged. Okay, well, the new transformer has been installed. You can see it's quite a tight fit in there, but it is in and ready to be powered up. I noticed that the outer wrapping on the original one was brown, and the tape on the side is yellow. The new one is gray with white tape. So there's something interesting there. It also looks like it's been made in 2013. I'm guessing this one was made in 2010 maybe. So, this was 3 years old when it was installed in a brand new amplifier. So this was just older stock that they had sitting in there. That one is a little more current. So, we shall see. So in the end, I did have to replace the filament and plate transformer, but this amplifier was still under warranty, and Ameritron was really good with me. They sent those parts to me no charge. They even paid for all the return shipping for the other parts and everything, and they have been very helpful, and they even extended my warranty for all my troubles. So that's one of the nice things about dealing with an American company, and Ameritron is known for having excellent customer service. So anyway, I thought I'd share some of the things that I discovered with this amplifier. It's a wonderful amplifier. It's smooth tuning, very quiet, and now it looks better, operates better, has a little bit more functionality, and maybe some of these things might be something you might want to try with your amplifier. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks, and 73 from KC2QMA.